There is a pattern hidden throughout history, a strategy so powerful it shaped empires. Yet most people were never taught about it. It wasn't written in laws. It wasn't carved into monuments. But it quietly determined who held power and who obeyed. Ancient rulers understood something about human nature that we are only beginning to recognize today. A hidden system that controlled entire civilizations. And once you see it, you will begin noticing it everywhere. Thousands of years ago, early leaders faced a difficult problem. How do you control thousands, sometimes millions of people, without constant force? Armies could conquer land, but fear alone could not maintain order forever. Eventually, people would resist, revolt, or simply stop believing in the authority above them. So the most powerful leaders in history began experimenting with something different, not force, not wealth, but perception. They realized something remarkable. People rarely react to reality itself. They react to the story they believe about reality. Civilizations are built on invisible agreements. Money has value because people believe it does. Kings ruled because people believed they had the right to rule. Even entire religions formed systems of shared belief that united millions of individuals. But ancient rulers understood something deeper. If you can influence what people believe, you can influence how they behave. And if enough people believe the same thing, it becomes a form of invisible power. One of the greatest examples of this system came from ancient Rome. The Romans understood that controlling people physically was expensive and unstable. But controlling attention and emotion was far easier. So they created spectacles, massive arenas, public celebrations, political theater. Crowds gathered by the tens of thousands to watch events designed not just for entertainment, but for psychological influence. The goal was simple: keep the population emotionally engaged, so they never questioned the structure around them. This method worked remarkably well. When people are constantly focused on dramatic events, their attention shifts away from deeper questions. Questions like, who really holds power? Who benefits from the current system? And why does the system exist in the first place? Distraction became one of the oldest tools of influence in human history, and it didn't require violence. Only attention. Ancient civilizations also used another powerful tool: symbols, crowns, statues, massive temples, gigantic monuments. These weren't just artistic achievements. They were psychological signals. When people saw structures that seemed larger than life, they subconsciously associated authority with greatness. The ruler appeared larger, more powerful, more permanent, even when the individual leader was just another human being. Perhaps the most powerful idea ancient leaders created was the illusion of permanence. Empires presented themselves as eternal, unbreakable, destined to rule forever. But history tells a different story. Every empire that ever existed eventually disappeared. Yet while they lasted, their systems felt unstoppable because people believed they were. What makes this pattern fascinating is that it never truly disappeared. The methods evolved, but the psychological principles remained. Influence perception, shape belief, control attention. These invisible forces have quietly guided civilizations for thousands of years. And once you begin recognizing the pattern, history starts to look very different. Civilizations were never controlled by force alone. They were guided by something far more subtle. The stories people believed, the symbols they trusted, the systems they accepted without questioning. Because in the end, the most powerful form of control was never physical. It was psychological. And that hidden system has been shaping history for thousands of years.